Hi guys. We are about to go live. For any of you just joining in now, we are going to do a series of chats with the new champions, the Chelsea women's team. And today I'm going to be speaking to Magda, Magda Eriksson. So if any of you have questions and there's things that you're dying to ask Magda, then put them in the comment box. And when she joins, I will do my best efforts to ask and keep writing them. Hello from Nigeria. Hello. How you doing? I'm not too bad. We're just waiting for Magda Eriksson to join. Hello from Kosovo. Hello. Hello, how are you? From Malaysia. Hello. Hi, everyone. Wow, really international. This is exciting. Yeah, Chelsea, I can see a congratulations there. Chelsea women have been crowned the league champions. Very exciting. And we're going to be speaking to Magda Eriksson any second now. So for those of you who are just logging in and joining in, we will be doing a series of chats, and we're going to call them Chelsea Champs, or I don't know what we're going to call them actually, but we're going to do a series of chats with the players to find out how they are, how they're doing, how's quarantine been, how excited are they that they've been crowned champions, and just to get to know the person behind the player, really. So put your questions in the comment boxes, and I'll try and ask them when Magda joins. Exciting stuff. Can't wait. Hello to all of you joining champions. I'm reading all of your comments. This is brilliant. So many. Oh, I can't see. Let me see. Who have I got? So Magda, are you on here? Magda is saying that she has. Let me view. Magda is. Waiting. Hello!
Hi!
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Do you know what? I was a bit overwhelmed because there were so many requests, and I was going,
oh yeah,
requests. Oh, there
did a
she
lot
is.
of people want to join?
A lot of people want to join.
Okay.
As soon as I said we were going to talk to you, so many people started
Yeah.
asking questions. So there are so many questions. Be prepared.
Wow. Okay.
Well, first of all, how are you amongst everything?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm really good. Obviously, really happy about the news yesterday. But it is just mixed emotions with everything. I think it's like I am really happy that we won, but it is just you can't compare it to the feeling of winning together with your team. When you're here alone, it's it's a bit strange, but I'm just happy, and also happy seeing that things with the pandemic are moving in the right direction, and the football that has started, everything has worked out fine. So I think a lot of things are moving in the right direction at the moment. So there are a few things to be positive about.
For sure. Well, definitely positive about the fact that you guys are now champions. And I know that a few players have said that it's been mixed emotions for different reasons. Obviously, I know that in an ideal situation, everyone wants to finish all their games and win like a normal season. But where were you when you found out? Where were you reading it? How did you know? What was your emotions? Who were you with?
So we were on a Zoom call with Chelsea, with the team. And Emma broke the news. And she had a little glass of champagne and celebrated. It was just nice to spend that together with the team. Obviously very strange to celebrate a championship on a Zoom call, but it's better than being completely alone.
Yeah, of course. Well, I feel like everyone's life now is on Zoom. Birthdays, I mean, the thing will be Zoom weddings, I think. Everything just about is happening on Zoom.
Yeah.
And talk to me about quarantine. Are you in Sweden right now, or are you in Germany, or are you in England? Where are you?
Yeah, I'm in Germany now. So I was in England for a few weeks, then I was in Sweden for a few weeks, and now I've been in Germany the last week. With my partner. She started playing here in the Women's Bundesliga, and I'm going to be here until we meet up with Chelsea again.
Nice. So was that quite exciting, knowing that the Bundesliga was going to start. Pernille was going to get back into training. Was that, I mean, you talked about there being a little light, I guess, at the end of the tunnel. That was a positive thing to take. How has it been?
Yeah, it's nice to see that they've managed it really well, the men's Bundesliga and the women's Bundesliga, and it's nice to see that it is actually possible to have a return to football, at least here in Germany. And yeah, I think they've sorted it out really well, and yeah, it makes me feel positive that we will get back and up and running in England as well soon.
Oh, fingers crossed. Well, the men will be starting soon, won't they? So I guess we can let them be the guinea pigs.
Yeah,
in the UK,
exactly.
and then
Exactly.
But let's talk about the season. Let's go back. I believe this was the first time, or first season, where you were captain. How did you find out? What was it like? What were the emotions? Was there added responsibility? Tell me everything.
Yeah, so Emma asked the question, I think it was 3 days before our first game of the WSL season. So those 3 days leading up to that game on Stamford Bridge against Tottenham, I was I was quite overwhelmed, and everything was like, everything was happening so fast. But I was super honored and super shocked and surprised actually that when Emma asked the question. And we won. Luckily, we won the first game against Tottenham, and everything felt good. And I think since then I've grown into the role and found my place with everything. And now I'm just super happy to captain such a good team and such amazing players to play together with as well.
And what was it like, that first game, Stamford Bridge? I mean, it must have been incredible energy.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think that's been like, if you could say a dream, or when you visualize something as a football player, those are the moments that you think about. Walking into an amazing stadium with thousands of fans in the stands and like loud atmosphere, and also a win in the end, and just a beautiful day. Like, it was just, everything about that day was just amazing, and it was really nice to start the league that way, to just like show that how women's football is on the rise in the UK, and everything about that day was just amazing.
Absolutely. And I'm just, so that you know, Magda, if anyone comments a question or something that you want to ask, then feel free, ignore mine and just address the person. I did see that somebody asked whether you would be captain next season. Do you even know that yet?
No, I have no idea actually.
Well, there we go. There's so many people sending questions, but somebody did ask that. I think it was Victoria. So Victoria, she doesn't know yet. She has no idea yet.
No.
Let's talk about some of the favourite matches this season. Was there any match that really stuck out to you?
There's so many of them. I feel like there are so many different ones for different reasons. But I think the 2 home games we had against Arsenal and City, when we won both the games quite late in the game, and we came back from 1-0 behind. We had players coming in from the bench and like scoring in the last minutes of the game. Like, those were just 2 games that were like amazing football games, and also we played really, really well as a team, and we used the whole squad. So I think those 2 games were really nice, and it was nice to beat our 2 top rivals as well in the league. But then obviously the Continental Cup final was just a mental game as well. Scoring that late in the 92nd minute, I think, and winning the first ever trophy in the Continental Cup was definitely also a highlight of the season.
How did you guys celebrate?
First we were going crazy on the pitch because it was I think that goal came from nowhere, and we were all it was just so much happiness. But then also on the bus on the way home, those type of moments are really nice, when you can celebrate on the bus home and people are just singing and dancing, and everyone is just happy.
And tell me a little bit about the Arsenal match, because it was such a big victory. Did you expect the team to be so dominant?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I know that every time we play Arsenal or City or anyone really, it's always tight to start with. But this game was completely different. It was I think we were 3-0 up after 20 minutes, and we were all kind of like, what is happening? What is going on? So I feel like we had just built up for that moment. We had a few games before the other wins against them. We had a lot of chances and we didn't maybe put them away. But that game we were so clinical and we just scored on every chance we had, and everyone was just flying. And it was just one of those crazy games. And I remember how nice it was to run over to our fans and celebrate with them, because they were so loud as well. It was away to Arsenal, but they were the loudest in the stadium.
So many people congratulating you and saying you'll be captain again, forever Blues, and congratulations. I mean, it must feel weird having it over Zoom, like you said, and not being able to have that kind of fan interaction, because you've mentioned it twice now, how much I guess you get from the fans. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure. They are. I think we've all realized how much the fans mean to football, how big part they are in the football atmosphere and just creating the feeling around football. And I think the way that we have established the fan base at Kings Meadow, and also all the away games, they travel there as well. I think it's been amazing to see, and that support is just it's just so nice to have that when you play. So I'm really hoping that we can soon play in front of the fans again.
Absolutely. Adidayo has said, one of the questions is, who do you think was one of the, I guess, toughest opponents that you've played in or against last season?
I must say that the toughest game we played last season was probably the 3-3 game to Man City away. I think Man City are always really hard to play against. They're a strong team, they're hard to beat, and that game was just a mental football game. It was going back and forth and a lot of goals, and we took the lead a few times and then they came back, and it was just and saved the penalty, and I think that game had everything. But it was a tough game and they made it really difficult for us, but we managed to get it to 3-3 in the end.
And Alicia has said, what has it been like having someone like Beth England in the squad?
Oh, amazing. It's so cool to see her development and the way she fought back from going on loan to Liverpool to then come back and just develop each training and just follow her. Like, you can really see her hunger and her will to develop and to score goals and to also be a teammate as well. Like, she's a real team player. She works really hard for the team and works really hard, like in the gym and with everything. So I feel like she's one of those players who you just wish all the best, and to see her succeed is just it's really it really makes me happy to see.
We've got some brilliant questions coming in. Keep them coming in, guys. Joey has said, City away was really tense to watch as a supporter. How did it feel from your perspective? I mean, I guess you have commented on that a little bit there.
Yeah, but I think it was more fun to watch it for a supporter than for a defender to play in it, because I obviously don't like when games are out of my control, but I really felt like that game was out of my control, definitely. Yeah. And also conceding 3 goals is not ideal for me, but yeah, I'm happy that supporters enjoyed it.
And looking at the season and how it finished with points per game, how important was the result?
Yeah, it proved to be really, really important. It was the last game we played in the league before this break, and if we would have lost that game, it would have been completely different outcome. So I think it proved to be a massive point to get, and I don't think we didn't realize that at the time, but we knew how important the games are when we play against the top teams, and to just know as well that we haven't lost a game this year is also something that makes you feel like we are definitely worthy of this championship as well.
Well, I mean, no one could have predicted a pandemic, and I don't think anyone would have predicted that football or any sport would have stopped. So, as you say, go every point, every game, it really counts. You've been in England for 3 years now. What is the first thing you're gonna do when lockdown lifts and you come back to England? What is it that you really miss?
What do I miss? I like mainly miss the footballing side of it. I miss coming into the training ground and just being with my teammates and all of that. I feel like I don't really know exactly what about the English culture that I miss. I just miss also going into London and just exploring London. Is such an amazing city and so many cool things you can do and all of that thing. So that I would probably say maybe going to a really good restaurant and having a good meal and going to training with my teammates.
And what is the best and the worst thing about living in England?
The best thing is that I get to play football with the best players in the world. Like there's so many amazing players in our team at the moment, and it's such an environment where I've developed so much and so high standards in everything and so professional. And the worst thing is, of course, being away from my friends and my family. That is, I really enjoy England as a country and London as a city, but my family is based in Stockholm and Pernille is here in Germany, and it is of course hard to be away from them.
Yeah, I was going to say to you, what's the thing that you miss most about Sweden? But I guess you've answered that.
Yeah, it's definitely the family and the friends, and of course I miss my hometown. Stockholm is a beautiful city as well.
How have you managed to stay sane during lockdown? Because you keep hearing about people talking about this roller coaster. One day you're like, this. The next day you're like, oh my God, when is this ending?
It's definitely been mentally challenging in many ways. This whole thing of not knowing what the next weeks will bring, what's the future gonna bring, when are we back, what's happening with everything. I think that's been the hardest part, to not knowing what's gonna happen. And I mean, that's been the reality for everyone. So it's just been a really challenging time in general. But for me, I was really lucky that I'm studying, or I did study. I have a summer break now, which is really nice. So I study political science, and and I actually picked up. I study half time usually, but I was gonna study full time this last spring, and it was a bit of a chance because playing football and studying full time is quite tough. But then Corona happened, and then I could just study full time instead, and that's been a really nice way of just maybe putting 4 hours into your studies, and then you forget about the world and you forget about everything else that day. So that's been really nice, actually.
Oh, amazing. So I'll remember to tell my teenage cousins who are like, oh, we don't want school. Do you know what? Magda is a professional footballer and she's studying full time.
Yeah,
superhero.
Exactly. Yeah.
There we go. Absolute superhero. How have you been keeping fit during this time? And have you got any tips? Because that was something that so many people were doing Instagram lives about keeping fit. But as a professional athlete, I mean, your body is your absolute product.
Yeah, I think that's something as well that could be a potential worry. Like, how am I going to keep fit? How am I going to come back, and what shape will I be in? But I think we've had a really good schedule from Chelsea that's been really strict, and I got into a good routine of training, like kind of the same time where I trained normally anyway, around 11 in the morning, or in the midday maybe. That's maybe not mornings for everyone.
Women like me.
And I mean, I've also had bad days where I've just been like, I don't want to train today. I'm so tired, so sick of training on my own, but I just managed to get through it anyway. And I know that the feeling after every session is so nice. So I'm trying to focus on that. Like, I know it might be tough to go out for a run, but then after, when you finish that run, it's just an amazing feeling. So I've been trying to think of that when I feel very unmotivated.
Yeah, it's hard. And how have you been staying away from the fridge? Because I haven't managed to do it. If I don't. Next to the fridge, I would.
I don't stay away from the fridge. That's also a motivation, actually. Like, okay, Magda, the more you train, the more you can eat. So.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. That means I'll have to start getting running and doing more exercise now.
Yeah.
Because I've got the fridge bit down.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah, at least that's check. Now you just have to go out and.
Absolutely. Now tell me about different realities of lockdown from London or England or Stockholm to Germany. What has it been like? Because I think, am I right in saying that Sweden's lockdown was super soft?
Yeah, it was more it was more like recommendation based than actual rules and actual restrictions. So I think that was the biggest difference. So I actually came from England when they were when the really strict rules were imposed, and then coming to Sweden where it was still very different from normal life, still a lot less people out, but you could feel more free to do things on your own responsibility, and of course keeping distance, washing your hands, all of those things were a recommendation, but it wasn't any rules about how many times I could go out and stuff like that. So it made it easier for workouts, etc., because the pitches in Sweden were open, so I could find football pitches where I could train and those kind of things. So that was quite nice.
Yeah. And in Germany, how has it been? Like, so many people saying, we want to see Pernille, say hi to Pernille. Everyone's like loving Pernille.
Oh.
What was it like in Germany?
Yeah, it's been really nice. So actually they have some strict rules here about their protocols returning to play and stuff. So in the beginning, I actually had to stay away from Pernille and take 2 tests to see that I was negative of COVID.
Yeah.
And so after those 2 negative tests, then I could see her, which took around 5 days. So in the beginning, I was here on my own, and then I could see her again, which was really, really nice.
Yeah, I bet. And how are you coping when she's training and doing what she loves, and you just have to supportively sit there going, I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous at all.
Yeah.
This is absolutely fine.
Yeah, it's that's what's hard. She's just had a game today, actually. I watched it earlier, and of course it makes I just want to play as well. But I see it as fuel that, like, okay, I get even more excited for coming back. And when I come back, I'm going to do all of those things that I've been wanting to do now. So I'm going to try to make it like fuel that I'll unleash when I come back.
Brilliant. Well, let's talk a little bit about some of your teammates. Let's talk about Sam Kerr. I mean, some brilliant goals. And what was so special about her, and what has she brought to the team, do you think?
I think obviously she's brought a loads of football qualities. Like, I think we all know what she can do. And when she's at her best, she has an amazing ability to score goals. She's quick, she can jump crazy high, and she's good on the head. She's very versatile. She's good on a lot of things. But I think what surprised me the most is how she is as a person. I think she's just a really funny, humble human being that's just fit right into the team. And now she's almost like the team clown. Like, she just jokes around with everyone and just spreads a lot of like positivity in the team, and just a lot of jokes and banter and things. I think her character just fitted perfectly into the team. Really, it feels like she's been there longer than she has.
Oh wow! And there's a new signing, Melanie Loopholes from Bayern Munich. Has Pernille played against her? Has she given you any tips about her?
Yeah, I've actually played against her myself. Like, she's my age, so I think we played against each other like all through the ages, Sweden and Germany. So I know her very well, and yeah, she's an amazing like character as well on the pitch. A leader, a solid midfielder, good on the ball, good defensively. I feel like she's also very versatile, and probably has a nice German mentality as well, that she always wants to win and stuff, which is good.
Very good. I mean, talk to me about next season. When you think about it, after everything that's happened, and I mean, you guys are champs. I know that some of you have said it's not exactly how we would have liked to win, but you did, and the points were special. How do you go in mentally after everything that's happened in 2020 into the next season, just going, it's all about the football?
Yeah, no, I think I'm so excited for next season, especially now that we've qualified for the Champions League. And yeah, there's so much to compete for next season, and I just can't wait to get started prepping for it. I get excited talking about it, especially the Champions League. We missed out on that tournament this year, and when you miss out on it, you can really feel how fun it is, and that's like absolutely the biggest tournament that you want to be in as a football player. You can travel to other countries and play other teams from other leagues, and it's just really cool to compare yourself to the best teams in Europe, really. So really excited for Champions League, and really excited to prove that this what we started wasn't just a one-off. Like, this is our habit now. We're going to be really hard to beat in the future as well.
There's something about the Champions League, you're right. The music, just being in that competition, especially as a fan, like when you're watching, you're just like, oh my God, it's Champions League.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine what it would be like for you guys. It must be one of the kind of bonuses of next year, of just going in and thinking this. I mean, is it a goal? Is it something that you've all talked about?
Yeah, definitely. We've always, I think Emma has been really brave to say that our dream is to reach the final in Champions League and to compete for the biggest silverware you can get in women's football. And I think we now more than ever have a really realistic chance of reaching a Champions League final, for example, or coming really far in the competition. And that's what really excites me, is that I feel like our squad at the moment is just amazing, and the sky is the limit.
Well, it is very brave that Emma said that, because I know that sometimes when you're being interviewed, even if that is kind of secretly the objective, you would just go, we're taking it one game at a time, or at the moment we're concentrating on this or on that. But sometimes you just need to go, yeah, that's where we're going. I believe in my team, and we're going to get there.
Yeah, I think that's Emma's style more than the politically correct. She's more of an outspoken, she isn't afraid to say those things, and I think that's really cool with her. And I think, why should we be afraid? Like, it's a realistic chance. Anyone who looks at our squad sees that we could definitely get there, so we need to start believing in it for us to be able to get there.
Absolutely. And what's it been like working with Emma and under Emma?
It's been really cool. It's really cool to see a woman so highly respected in such a big football club, and how she pushes development every year in Chelsea. Something new is happening, whether we get a bigger staff or another pitch at the ground or something. Like, she's always just wanting to move forward all the time and develop both us and also drive the women's game forward. So she's a really inspiring woman to have as a leader.
Okay, I'm going to answer some of the fan questions because they are coming in so much. You are extremely popular. Someone has said, was there anything you had to change or adapt before going into the new season as captain of the team? And this is from Anna Jessica.
Okay, Anna Jessica, that's a good question. I don't think I wanted to change anything. I was picked because of me, who I am. And I think that is, for me, that's very important as a leader, that just because you are the captain, you don't change who you are. You stay who you are, but you maybe do some tweaks and you amplify some of your abilities. And for me, it's been to really establish myself as the link between the coaches and the players, and expressing the players' will when I needed to, and expressing the coach's will when I needed to. So being that kind of link that goes between them, and making sure that we stay happy as a team, that we are looked after in every kind of way. And I think that's been the main thing, because other than that, there's so many leaders in the team that take responsibility. So it's not been a massive job in that way. I think we're good at driving standards together, but definitely being the link of communication has been the biggest adjustment.
And this is quite an interesting one. Wasso Editor said, have you ever played against Pernille, and what's it like when you do?
I played against her a couple of times, both for Sweden and when she plays for Denmark, and also one time in the Champions League semi-final against Wolfsburg, my first year with Chelsea. And I feel like we've got used to it now. It's very special, of course, and the what do you say? The more important the game, the more tough it is. So we played against each other in the Algarve Cup this year, and that was just a friendly. And then it's nothing special anymore. It's quite fun to to just play against her. But then also there's so much attention around it as well, which is, I mean, it is what it is. But
Yeah.
I think it's tough when it's something at stake that we both want. So, for example, in the Champions League, there was a final at stake, and we both, of course, wanted to get there, but only one of us could.
Yeah, of course, of course. I mean, it's an interesting one, right? So, good question from Wasso. Mackenzie has said, if you could play a game with any player, dead or alive, I guess, or retired, who would it be?
So, with a player?
Yeah. If you could play a game with any player. I'm guessing with, but maybe you could say, yeah, with's probably.
Yeah, with. So, if I could basically have a player on my team, or... that's a good question. I need to think. She's still playing, but like for me, growing up in Sweden, the biggest star was always Magda. She was there for 5 or 6 years, and she was just a massive star in the league. So I think I played against her, but I've never played with her. And I think she's an amazing football player still, but she was so good when she played in Sweden. So yeah, I would pick Marta.
Yeah, and I'm half Brazilian, so I was very happy with that choice. Very happy with that choice. Fran Kerb Daly, you asked who was your idol growing up. I'm guessing it was Marta, because that's what you've just said. So I'll ask another one. This is Fran Kirby's. I guess it's her fan page. They said, if you play a game again, one of the games in your career again, which one would it be?
Well, that's also a good question. We had a few semi-finals last season wasn't as successful as this season, and I think I played 4 semi-finals last year and lost all 4 of them. So that was a bit disappointing for me personally. Yeah. But I think we played Lyon in the Champions League semi-final last season, and I wish I could play the first game again. We lost to them 2-1 away, and then we draw 1-1 at home. So we were really close to beating them to going to the final. And I felt like if I could just play the first leg again, and maybe we could have gone to the final.
I thought maybe you would have said the last game of the league against City, because you had that amazing goal, that diving header. And it was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
There you go, guys.
Yeah.
Well, tell me a little bit about that game. That's just one of my questions, because it was, I mean, we've talked about how phenomenal it was anyway, playing against City and Arsenal. But when you got that goal, how did it feel?
When I got it, I think, I don't even remember if it was the 2-2 goal. Yeah, I think it was. So I think at that time I was just like, get the ball, we're gonna win this, like, get it back, let's just play. I'm not someone who's like super happy when I score. It's just like, okay, let's keep playing. And now I think in hindsight, it's like, okay, that goal was actually really, really important. Now that you're looking back on that game, it's massively important. But in the moment, I was just like, get the ball, we have to win.
Humble. She's humble. Guys, she's a professional player, studies full time, and she's humble, doesn't even want to celebrate her goals. I mean, too much, Magda. Samira's asked a question. She said, have you got any advice to give any young girl that wants to become professional?
Yeah, for sure. I think the most important thing is to just enjoy the football and enjoy your everyday life, because I think when you're happy, you play so much better. And yeah, to just find yourself an environment where you just feel good and you feel like you can express yourself. That's really important to start with. And then I think it's just, when you're young, you should be almost like a sponge. You should just take in all the information and just want to learn all the time. And then when you get older, that's when you start learning to sort out what to take in and what to ignore and all of that kind of things. But while you're young, just have a willingness to learn all the time and just to strive to develop and find an environment where you're really happy and you enjoy football with your teammates.
And Neve Peacock here, Neve's written this question in about 5 million times so that I wouldn't miss it. So good job, Neve, because I'm going to say it. I'm not missing it. Was there any time in your career that knocked you back when you were younger?
Oh yeah, loads of times. I feel like that is the life of a football player. Isn't like, it doesn't go like this. It goes up and then it goes down and up and down all the time. So I think yeah, I definitely when I was started playing professional, I played for 2 teams that were actually relegated out of the first division. So I experienced losing a lot of games, and learning to deal with that, learning to deal with not just taking for granted that you're going to win every game. And then so I've really learned how to fight from there. And then I also had a long time before I started for the national team. It took a long time for me because we have so many good defenders in the Swedish national team. The competition has been very high, so it only now recent years that I've been playing regularly. So that's been a struggle for me to really trying to establish myself as a starter for the national team.
Okay. Well, there we go. And Gemma has asked, what is your favourite part of Chelsea? I'm guessing, what's your favourite part of playing in the Chelsea team? I'm guessing that is.
There's so many things that I enjoy with Chelsea. I think I would say that the main thing is the professionalism and the wanting to be, or the strive to be, a pioneer for the women's game. I feel like Chelsea is always pushing for new limits all the time, and it's really inspiring to be part of an environment that's constantly like growing, constantly getting better and reaching new goals, and just being more and more professional all the time. So yeah, I would say that's what I love the most about Chelsea.
It's interesting that you said that question earlier about Sweden, and so many people are now coming in going, you're the best, we love you in Sweden all the time, we want you always playing. So it's interesting. It's nice. Interesting to see your perspective and how important that is for you, and then how other people see it. Is there something, I guess, that I want to ask about women's football that people don't really know? We know that it's not plain sailing, that the women sometimes have to have jobs on the side. But is there something about women's football that you want to share that nobody maybe knows about, but that is so important, and why it keeps you going? What is it about it? It's not just the football. There's something about women's football. I mean, as an interviewer, I know, and I have to answer that question, but I wonder as a player.
Okay, that's a good question. Well, I think I don't want to, this doesn't mean that it's not like this in the men's football. I can only speak from my perspective. Yeah. But what I like the most is our environment that we create in a team. It's it's like a big family. So Chelsea almost feels like a big family where we take care of each other, we look after each other, we genuinely like love each other, even though we compete in some way. We just have a respect for each other. But then also, I would say the culture of the fans that we have, and the way that the game, like the atmosphere surrounding the games, are so friendly and full of love and just acceptance for everyone, diversity. I think all of those things, which are really important to me, and it's really nice to see that amongst our fans, that I really hope we can maintain a culture like that going forward. As our fans grow, I hope the culture stays the same.
There's a lot of people saying here, I think they agree, there's a lot of kind of hearts coming through. And I've got to say, it's true. I think whenever I've interviewed anyone actually across women's football, whenever I've come into the club, they've really made, and you know, as a reporter, sometimes people shy away from you, but they've really made you feel like you're part of the team, and the girls especially. Max here has come in with a couple of questions. What are your views on VAR?
Oh. Oh, that's a difficult one.
Controversial little views here, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna be very politically correct. No, I'm gonna say that as long as it's handled in the right way, I'm fine with it. But I think we've learned from a couple of incidents in the men's Premier League and the Women's World Cup last year that you can't go in and control everything. You still have to mostly let the flow of the game be the flow of the game, and then if something is obvious offside or an obvious handball or an obvious, then I would like the VAR to step in. But I feel like it's been trying to find a balance, but it's starting to get the right balance, and then I'm okay with it. But I don't want it to become something where it's constantly 5-minute breaks all the time because you have to check something. And I think the way it was handled in the Women's World Cup was, I think it could have been handled better. I can say that.
Yeah, it was tricky. I mean, there were so many moments in the Women's World Cup where you would go on a high and then a low, and then you felt for the team, regardless, I think, of your nationality. It was definitely tricky. Teething problems. Guys, I am going to ask 3 more of your questions. So get your questions in, because you've been with us for so long. So thank you, Magda. 3 more questions, and that is it. Get your questions in now. Here we go. We've got some coming in. Who is the most underrated player you've played with or against? So someone who you think is brilliant, but they're a bit underrated.
Okay.
Or someone who you think deserves way more kudos, I guess.
I think the player I'm gonna say, she has got some praise now in the end, which is really good. I feel like we have a few of those. There's a load of those players in the team actually that I want to highlight. But I think Sophie Ingle is an amazing midfielder for us. She's been so solid. You always know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a really good performance every game. I've never seen her have a bad game really, and I think she has got the praise now in the end, finally. But she's not one of those players who maybe don't stand out as much. But I think like this year she has, because she scored some amazing goals as well, and she's starting to get the recognition that she deserves.
Well, kudos to her. That is a brilliant answer. These questions are really making me laugh. Somebody else also called Magda has said, what's your favourite board game? Random. I love it.
That's nice.
What is your favourite board game? Have you been playing board games? Monopoly, Scrabble?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I love board games. I play them all the time actually. Yeah, so maybe that person knows me, that knows that I love board games.
Which one's your favourite?
Oh, I have a lot of. There's Ticket to Ride. It's really nice. That's I don't know if you know that one, but it's nice. You build. People wanted to see Pernille. You can see.
Guys,
there she is.
Pernille. There she is.
Yeah, no, she waved. Yeah, she's sorting out the balcony for tonight.
Everyone's coming in. Love you. I love that. Are there ever any arguments when you play board games in quarantine?
If I play against Pernille, there can definitely be some arguments. We're both really, really competitive.
I imagine. Right, last question. Who is the team joker? And that's from Phoenix.
Like Joker, does that mean that it's a funny person?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. I was like, we have loads of them, I think. So there's Erin Cuthbert is really something special. She's very unique. She's just really cool because she's so young, but I feel like she's just so like she knows who she is. She's just really funny. I also think Sam Kerr is really funny as well. She's really like quick settled into the team as a kind of a joker. So we have a few funny characters in the team, definitely.
Funny that you said that about Erin. I saw like a Hyundai kind of advert you did with Mason where they got, and that was so good.
Oh no, I know. She's hilarious.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
I think they gave her a fake nose as well, and the wig. Yeah. The whole thing was brilliant. Magda, listen, thank you so much. 45 minutes, almost an hour or something of your time. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Big love to you and congratulations. You are the champ, and next season we can't wait to see you do more.
Me neither. Thank you so much.
Bye everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye bye.
Thanks.